Well, as you can see, I've smoothed the edges. Whether I should have or not is a matter for personal choice. I use these blocks from my local hardware store. This is 100 grit. They do 100, 60, whatever grit you want to work with. I chose 100 because I wanted something quite aggressive. I am now about to stick this base to the frame base. I don't know if I should or not, in all honesty. I searched online, I've looked at so many videos and it's still not clear. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to stick that to the base. Now I could try and just leave it in position while I'm fucking around with the cover, but I got a feeling that's going to cause me more grief than anything. So if sticking it is wrong, I'm about to find out. My worst case scenario is I have to rip it all off and start again. Also, I'm going to stick the base in here. That's the pleated bit from the seat cover. But I can't do that until I've got this thoroughly bonded to this base unit. Also, there is this pink bit, and I'm assuming that this was supplied to go on top of this to smooth out the edges. Seems kind of silly to me, but I don't know if I'm going to put that on or not. We will see. I've also got myself a glue gun, a little spray gun that I'm going to use, and we'll see how it goes. I've also got to order myself another gallon of lock weld. This will be my 3rd gallon and a quart that I bought initially. So you're going to use a lot of glue putting this car together. Sounds terrible, doesn't it? Like it's a giant Airfix model. But I've got a lot more gluing to do in the center console. The carpets, there's some more carpet stuff to be done. What else? That might be it, actually. Well, I'm saying that might be it, but there's the carpets to do. The bits that aren't just held down with the plastic pins. I'm talking about the ones that go down the transmission tunnel, behind the feet, behind where your feet go, kickboard, whatever you want to call that. The backs of the seats. Yeah, so there's a lot more glue needed. Time to put my order in. Having now glued the seat foam to the seat base, it has become very apparent that I need to trim the foam again, which means all that sanding and trimming I did on the top, getting nice curves, was kind of a waste of time. However, it wasn't a waste of time because it gave me practice and to see what I could achieve, and it now gives me a guide for what to do for the rest of the seats and the rest of the foam. As I said, unfortunately, BAS didn't supply what I call nice molded foams. They use the cheap method and just give you this foam. And I got a feeling they charged a hell of a lot for what is just pieces of foam. But hey, it is what it is, you know. It's the kit I bought. I thought I was going to get molded foam. Obviously, I was wrong. I didn't ask the question, did I? I just said, oh yeah, I want seat foams. So that's what I got. I got seat foams. So I think, sorry, yawning. I'm going to take this within about 1/4 of an inch of the frame, roughly. Yeah, some places it may be closer, some places it may be further away. But that's the plan, you know. Get out my electric carving knife. I don't know if I showed you that. I'll show you that in a moment. It's a cordless one. Got it on Amazon, I think, for about $37, something like that. Pretty good. It works. That means it's good in my book. So there you go. That's what I got to do with this. And it feels very firm. I'm very kind of impressed with how solid this feels. So hopefully it'll be quite comfortable when it's in the car. Okay, time to trim. Right, just got to trim the excess off here. Got me a nice new toy. Yes, it's an electric carving knife made by Chef, and it's cordless. It's so much better than the corded ones. You just charge it up with the normal USB connector. It says the blades are stainless steel. I don't know if they are or not. And I'm just going to trim off a reasonable amount, and then we'll have another piece of stuff to adhere. So let's see. Now it's got the safety thingies on it, this one. So if you're not holding that and you press go, it doesn't. You have to be holding it, then press go. Right, come with me. As you can see, that does a pretty neat job. It would have done it even better if the guy holding the saw knew what he was doing. Saw, knife. I think I'm going to leave this little edge, and now I'm going to stick on the pinky bit. Oh, my gimbal got upset there. See that pinky bit? It was supplied, so I'm going to use it. Hopefully that is not going to be a mistake. So let's get it on. But of course, before I can put that on, I've got to sand these edges that I have just created. Okay, onward and upward. Okay. So you can see I've got my nice sharp edge now that I don't want. Got my block here. I can't remember. I think this was the 100, but I have a 60 as well. So let's see how it goes with getting this edge off. I guess this method of shaping could be of use to you if your foams aren't that bad, but you know you've got a damaged part and you stick a piece of foam in, then you need to reshape it the same as the rest of it. This could also work for you. And there are lots of helpful videos out there on good old GlueTube. It's a bit messy though, as you can see. And it gets up your nose, in your face, up your bum. If it's up your bum, then you need to put some shorts on. When you come to the end, of course, it wants to move around a bit, so that can be an area that's a pain. Yeah, now I think that is a pretty good shape. I'm going to continue here and reshape this around the corner and make it a lot nicer. You don't have to watch me doing this, you know. You can do some work for once. Almost as good as those moulded foams. There. Gets in your mouth and your eyes. You might want to fast forward, but then again, I'm sure you're enjoying watching an expert at work. You know how experts are created. X as in has been, and spurt being a drip under pressure. Thank you IBM for that. That was told to me back in the late 70s by an IBM engineer. I can't remember whether I called him an expert or he called me an expert. I would imagine he was calling me an expert. Not that any of you care, but I was in the computers, or into computers and working on computers back in the early 70s. Christ, I think I started in 1973, 74, working with computers. A lot of people used to say, "Oh, you're a computer boffin. Do you wear a white coat?" Well, I didn't wear a white coat. I did know a lot about computers then, not so much these days. It's changed a lot since I left the trade. However, I still have reasonable knowledge. But yes, and I may have mentioned this before, and I'm going to mention it now, whilst you're a captive audience. When I started in computers, it was paper, tape and punch cards. We had a punch room where all the girls were sitting there, filling out the punch cards and copying it from data sheets, or if it was in America they were data sheets. Yeah, that was a good time. Right, I was at the forefront, if you like, of computers, and I loved it. And then I started in contracting. That was the thing, that's where the money was. Boy. And that's where I ended up working at the European Space Agency in West Germany, working on satellites. Quite a varied career, really. One that quite a few people, I think, wanted. I was in the right place at the right time with the right knowledge and made the right moves. Doesn't always happen, does it? Today, computers, wow. If you have the inclination now, get into computers. There's lots of money to be made there, especially if you're any damn good. Ironically, my brother was in computers as well. My parents seem to think I followed him into it because he got there first, but that never was the case. Ironically, again, we both went to the same institution to learn about computers. I did it because I read an advert in the Evening Standard one night. And I thought, yeah, that sounds like fun, let's go do that. So I did. My brother went into programming. I didn't like programming, it was boring just sitting behind a desk writing code. Yeah, I could do it, it didn't interest me. It interested my brother, and that, you know, good for him. Didn't interest me, so I went on to the, what should we say, the hardware side. Worked on the computer with varying types of systems. Sorry, I'm getting all sorts of shit in my eye. And really you're not in the least bit interested in that because you're interested in what I'm doing to the seat. But that's okay, you can still look at that and listen to my drivel. And I would suggest if you don't like my drivel, this isn't the channel for you. I'd like to try and smooth that down as best I can. You know what, this is rather satisfying. Don't ask me why, I don't know. I thought it was going to be a real pain doing this, but as I just said, it's becoming rather satisfying. Shaping. Perhaps I was a sculptor in a past life. Leonardo DiCaprio. He was a sculptor, wasn't he? Or was it some other Leonardo? Probably. Rodin! My mother and father bought me a miniature version of Rodin's Kiss because I was one for the ladies. So they thought it rather appropriate. I think it was a Christmas present or something. I think initially my parents despaired at me, and in the end they weakened and embraced my naughtiness. Or my, can't think of the right word. No. Oh, I was going to say proclivity for the ladies. Woo, dang, that's big words, huh? I only learnt that one this morning. Well, whilst you've been listening to my drivel and I've been working away at this, as always, just have a comment. You know, don't, as I said, don't cost you anything, doesn't do you any harm. Does me a little bit of good to get a few extra pennies in the piggy bank, but they don't give it to me until I've got $100, I think it is. And that's a lot of likes and thumbs up and thumbs down and comments. Tell you what, this really does get into your face and that. Right, I want to say that that is as good as it gets. What movie's that? Who was in that movie rather, not what movie was it, because that's the movie. Is this as good as it gets? There was a rather gorgeous female in it, although some of you may not think so. a rather famous actor. Well, actually, they're both famous. Oh, here we are. I think it's time for a bit of an airline and give this a blow off. And hopefully I've done enough to make this work. These are pretty even, not perfect, but they're pretty even. Then the next phase will be to stick the pleated part of the seat in here. Sorry. That will be for another, I was going to say another movie. That will be for another video. I'll give that a little bit more. Right, okay, I'm going to stop now. I'm going to blow this off, and once I've blown it off, I'll, God, actually I think I'll vacuum everywhere first, and then I'll blow it off. There we go, there it fucking goes, without fail. Right, blow this off, glue on the pink foam piece, and take it from there. Right, get down the garage, go do some shit. Keep watching. This is getting exciting, isn't it? Okay, all of these following pictures are from a fellow down under. I believe he said his name was Richard at Range Rover Solutions. That's his business. But he has a massive collection of vehicles. I think he wants to be Jay Leno. So hopefully you'll enjoy these pictures, but I'll add no further commentary other than to say this car looks rather nice. He's probably got a collection of probably 20 or 30 vehicles. I haven't counted the list that he sent me. The majority of them are Jaguar. Of course he has some Range Rovers, but you know, someone's got to look after those poor little cars. And I think he even got a BMW, which is really rather sad, but you know, we all make mistakes. Anyway, hopefully you will enjoy looking at these photographs, and I will put a link to his website in the description. But do note that he is down under, so unless you're down under, you're probably not going to contact him. All right, enjoy, and I will catch you on the next video.